What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another Warzone video on the channel. Today we're going to be looking at the best settings you guys can use in Warzone, which is my settings I've used for a very long time, but I actually changed some things up, which I really think you guys should change as well. I highly recommend it. We're going to be touching up on those. Before we actually get to that, I just want to thank you guys all so much for all the support. We're getting super close to 600 subscribers, which is going to be probably the fastest time I ever went from, gain 100 subscribers in a month, which is absolutely insane. So thank you all so much for the support. Thank you all for liking, watching the videos, sharing, all that good stuff. You guys mean a lot to me. But with that being said, let's go ahead and show you guys these settings. But real quick, just gonna give you a quick disclaimer. This does work for PC and for console, but this is gonna mainly be for console players. PC players can really tweak their audio settings within their PC and even in their headset. However, console players really can't do that. We're quite limited when it comes to audio settings and when it comes to control and obviously FOV. So this will be a little bit different for PC, but if you guys rock in default settings for PC, this should actually work for you as well. But yeah, with that being said, let's go ahead and hop straight into these settings. Battle Royale button layout. What was I about to say before? The Battle Royale button layout. Right now I'm using the default one, which a lot of people actually are confused as to how I'm using the Battle Royale button layout, but I'm still able to drop shot and still be the bunny hop and do things that most players can't do with the default layout. And real quick, I just want to let you guys know that I actually do play claw, which means the way I hold the controller, I can actually press more buttons and do more at once without having to take my thumb off the right joystick. So that is a huge advantage, guys. Obviously, you do not have to learn how to claw in order to do that. You can buy a scuff controller or some sort of controller that has extra paddles or buttons in the back. And you can also just change your button layout, which there are a couple of button layouts. I'm not too sure about them all, but there are a couple of button layouts that do allow you to have more dexterity when it comes to your movement and your aim, and pretty much make it to where you never have to take your any of your hands or fingers off of the right or left joystick, which honestly is super detrimental when it comes to aim and when it comes to pretty much any close range or long range gunfights. Next, we have the stick layout preset. I have this as default as well. Nothing really special here. You guys can rock whatever you want for the button layout or stick layout. It's pretty much just personal preference when it comes to this. Obviously, no inverted vertical look. I don't know who does that. Like, I've never seen anyone do it before, but I don't know why they added that option in most video games. Alright, so for dead zone, my controller usually doesn't really have much stick drift, but every once in a while it does want to drift when it wants to, so I do have my dead zone at 0.06. This is something that you cannot just look at my settings and copy. You really need to go and find out what best dead zone is for you, for your controller, because your controller might not have a lot of stick drift, so you might not need it. So obviously, if your controller has no stick drift, you probably can bump this down to around 3, maybe 2, and that will really help with your pretty much your aim and everything like that, and make it to where you're not going to be like flicking around and stuff. But for me, my controller wants to drift a little bit, like a very little bit. It's almost unnoticeable. But just to make sure I don't get any drift at all during my gameplay, I turn it up to 6, which is best for my controller and best for me. Alright, so moving on to the horizontal and vertical stick sensitivity. This is the one that always catches people. Okay, I do play on 2020 since. People think I'm lying. I 100% do play in 2020. It is definitely not recommended to play in the setting if you guys want to actually get better at the game and improve your aim. It's not. Do not go on 2020. Personally, for me, this took a lot of practice for me to actually get used to. And if you guys are willing to actually put the practice in, then hey, go for it. I would love to you guys actually be inspired by me to bump your sensitivity up. But guys, I really recommend you guys do not play in 2020 if you actually intend on getting better at the game, because it will mess up your aim and it'll be much harder to track, much harder to flick, and much harder to pretty much do multiple aiming maneuvers that result in you pretty much hitting your bullets. So yeah, I really recommend you guys don't do that, but this is my sensitivity. This is what I'm doing. I'm an idiot, so I do whatever I want, and that's pretty much how it works for me. Originally, I actually switched to 2020 because I was tired of dying to keyboard and mouse players that had such an advantage when it came to how fast I can turn around, and I just got sick of it. So I was like, you know what, screw it. I'm going straight to 2020. I literally jumped from 7.7 to 2020 that day and never went back, and it's just been like that forever. So that's my story behind that. Moving on to the ADS and sensitivity multiplayer. I have this at 105. You guys can actually choose whichever one you want. 105 is kind of fast, actually, when it comes to a ADS. This is low zoom and high zoom. So this goes for sniper rifles and for just regular ARs or SMGs. This is pretty much the same thing for me. I used to have this on 0.8 in my last video, which is way down here. That is 0.8 right there. This is something I used before. But I decided, you know, I want to have a little bit more flicky aim. I want to have a better you know, better response time. I can flick harder and pretty much hit my shots faster. So I decided to go ahead and bump it up to 1.05. Now, like I said, this is all personal preference. You guys do not have to do this, but that is just what I'm rocking right here. Alright, so for the aim response curve, I am using dynamic. I used to actually use linear back in the previous video, but I decided to switch to dynamic. It actually feels a lot better, and I'm actually really happy with the way it feels. I definitely feel like the linear was kind of a little bit harder to pretty much learn because it's just pretty much raw input. So what, you know, no matter how much you put, you know, like, I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain, but pretty much if you move the joystick a little bit, it's gonna pretty much just like react a lot, which is something that's really hard to control when you are on 20/20 sensitivity, because you already, like, the game is already at its max sensitivity. So the like tiny little adjustments to your joystick can make a big difference in the way you look around in the game. And I feel like the aim response curve definitely helps with that a lot. So moving on to the controller vibration, I don't have any vibration in my controller anyway, so this is just disabled for me. And I really recommend you guys don't have any controller vibration. I hate it when I'm getting shot at and I'm trying to hit someone and my controller is just vibrating, making it harder and giving me pressure on actually hitting those shots. So I'd rather just not have that. That's up to you guys though, personal preference. Now on aim assist, I do have my aim assist set to standard. I don't use precision, focusing, or anything else. I've never actually tried those out. I have no idea if those are good or not. Okay, so like, don't ask me. I have no idea. Perhaps I can try to test out in a video in the future. But as of right now, I have absolutely no idea. So yeah, I don't use any different type of aim assist besides standard. My weapon mount activation is ADS plus melee. My weapon mount movement exit is just enabled. We got aim down sight is hold. I don't have it on toggle. My equipment behavior hold, user reload behavior, contextual tap, guys. Contextual tap is very important. It makes it to where when you pretty much open a chest or pick up a gun, all you have to do is tap square besides having to hold it, which can definitely win you gunfights when you're trying to like grab loot in the beginning of the game. If you actually don't have any guns, it's definitely important. If someone else is trying to race you to grab a gun and they don't have contextual tap on, you will always win because they have to hold square where all you have to do is just press it. And then moving on, we have the depleted ammo weapon switch. I actually have this disabled. Usually I have pretty good game sense, so I'm always aware of how much ammo I have in my gun, and usually I'll switch it myself, but I hate it when the game switches it for me. It kind of throws me off. I don't really know what gun I have in my hand. If you guys ever know, when you're in between switching guns, the gun actually goes below your screen, so you don't know which gun you have in your hand. And whenever it does that, I pretty much get confused onto, okay, which gun do I have? Do I have the one that has no ammo in it, or do I have the one that does? You know, it's kind of confusing. I'd rather know exactly which gun I have, so I have this disabled. My armor plate behavior is apply all. This is really good for you guys trying to run away from someone and you're trying to apply plates at the same time. If you guys do not claw, this is very important. For me, I claw anyway, so it doesn't really matter, but I do like to be able to just put my finger on triangle and then just leave it and let it plate up while I'm moving around and pretty much breaking people's ankles, and they literally cannot touch me. Alright, moving on to the movement, I do have slide behavior on tap. You guys already know if you guys want to slide cancel in Warzone, the only way to do it is by having your slide behavior on tap. You guys check my how to slide cancel video in the description. It shows you pretty much all about slide and movement in general. The auto move forward, I do not have on. That is kind of weird for me. I never use that. Now, the automatic sprint, I do have set to tactical sprint. This really helps you when you are trying to slide cancel. It makes it 10 times easier. And on top of that, it allows you to eagle chow really efficiently and really effectively. You can kind of like go around corners really fast, and we'll be honest, you're just like all around the map, moving super fast. It's almost like you have death silence just all around the map. It's really good. It's the fastest way you can run in the game, and I really recommend you guys get used to it if you guys really want to improve your movement and your overall just dexterity in Warzone. Vehicle camera recenter is enabled. Parachute auto deploy disabled. I hate it when it auto deploys and I don't pick up guns because I'm floating in the air, so I have that disabled. Alright, moving on to general, I do have my brightness set to 50 if you guys want to know some brightness settings. Some people actually brighten this up to around 65. I prefer just 50. Actually, wait a minute. Did Warzone reset my brightness in the update? I think it did. I think I need to turn this back up. Okay, we're just going to say 60 because I still can't see the not visible sign. So we're just going to bump this up to 60 for now and see how that works for me. I have film game on 0. No tooltips. Colorblind disabled. Subtitles. If you guys are actually wondering how my videos are so saturated, that is actually OBS and my editing software. I do not actually have any sort of colorblind type in my video, so that's really important for you guys to know. My world motion blur is disabled, as well as my weapon motion blur. Now here is something new. The details and textures actually was released in a recent update, and I actually don't know what this does too much, but I feel like it actually puts a load on my PlayStation a little bit more, which lowers the frame rate and affects the quality. So honestly, I just decided not to mess with that. I have it disabled right now. You guys can try it out and see how it works for you guys, but for me, I actually have this on disabled. Now here's a really important thing right here, guys. You guys want to make sure your mini map shape is round, because being, oh wait, no, my fault, no. You want to make sure this is square. Having the minimap shape on square actually really helps you guys see a lot of what's around you. Obviously for me, I just had it on circle because the game reset all the settings and I forgot to just switch it back, which I'm now just noticing. But giving that square gives you those extra bit of corners that allows you to see a little bit more of what's around you, which can be very beneficial when it comes to looking for players and trying to figure out exactly where your enemies are pretty much located at in any spot of the map. And minimap rotation needs to be enabled as well if you actually want to use the heartbeat sensor effectively, because if heartbeat sensor doesn't really work if it's disabled, it just shows you where they were when the heartbeat went off, and if you turn around and look around, it's just going to stay in one spot. Whereas if you have it enabled, if you turn around and look around, it pretty much will show you exactly which direction they are showing at. Then the compass, I just have his letters, text chat enabled, all this stuff enabled, game installed, blah, credits, nothing crazy there. And we have the audio settings. Now this is a big one for me. I actually had this on boost high in my last video. Ever since the update, the boost high just feels really weird. So I actually switched this down to boost low, which really works for my headset. You guys all have different headsets. I'm using HyperX Cloud 2s, so these work really well for HyperX Cloud 2s. I don't know if you guys have Astro, if you guys have Turtle Beaches. I don't really know how the audio mixes work on those headphones, so you guys really want to try those out for yourself. But I know the 3 best ones are boost high, boost low, and I believe dynamic home theater. I've heard that those are the best ones in the game right now, so you guys can give those all 3 a try and see which one works for you. I have master volume set to 100. I have no music volume because it gives me stress. I have no 100% dialogue volume, effects volume 100%, Juggernaut. This is this is disabled. I don't know, like they keep switching my things. I have the hit marker as classic. Actually, I didn't have it as Modern Warfare. They switched that as well. Mono audio. This is actually pretty important. It actually allows you to have left and right audio channels which are combined in one channel, which allows you to hear exactly where your enemy is at according to directional pretty much audio. So honestly, that's really good. I think I should actually enable this. I never tried it before. I think I did try it, but as Warzone does in the new update, it reset my stuff, so I think I just got rid of it or something. Voice chat's enabled, 3.16, 208 in voice chat volume, 170 in microphone volume. All that stuff is not really have to do with you guys, just has to do with my headset pretty much. And I have this enabled as war tracks for passengers. It's actually supposed to be disabled, and the war tracks volume is actually supposed to be disabled as well, because I don't like hearing war tracks in the middle of Warzone. It's kind of annoying, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, so that's pretty much all the settings I use in Warzone right now. That is pretty much it, guys. I'm being just super transparent with you guys on exactly what I'm using. I don't use any Cronus Max on my controller, okay? And a lot of people been thinking that. No, that is all just practice. I spend hours on top of hours in pretty much Hackney Yard just practicing my aim and stuff like that, so I don't actually need to use the Cronus Max. And if you guys actually watch my gameplay, you guys would know that I don't, because every once in a while my aim is trash, and you know, that's just how it is sometimes. So yeah, with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you guys did, be sure to drop this video a like, subscribe if you're new, and post notifications so you guys never miss any more videos on the channel. With that being said, hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys in the next one.